What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. It's Thursday night football. We've got the Eagles versus the Giants. On Sunday, we went 7-1 in our picks, and on Monday night football, a 2-0 sweep. So we are on fire right now. We've got a lot of content to get through. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
James, we fucking killed it. Quick shout out to you. Even though we both got our picks right on Monday Night Football, you had one of the cleanest reads I've seen in quite some time. The Trevor Lawrence rushing yards ladder. Congratulations, my friend.
Yeah, man, that felt good. Cashed early in the first half. I think he went all the way up to like 55 yards, so could have got some insane odds if someone out there played it that high. Congrats to you, but yeah, feels good. Feeling good going into this game. I got my.
I know someone in the comments section from the last video actually said that they played it up to 50. So
let's go.
Congrats to them and shout out to you.
Yeah, for sure. Excited for this game though. We got my hometown Giants playing, so hopefully we got some good reads on this one too.
We'll do our best, right? But let's talk about it. I guess if you just looked at the records for these teams, you'd probably say it's a little bit one-sided. But if you look at how they've actually been playing, I feel like it brings it a little bit closer. So as a spread in this one, I think we're looking at 7 or 7.5. 7.5 points. We've got a low total at 40.5. The Eagles are 4-1. The Giants are 1-4. Nice divisional game, right? Which always brings it a little bit closer. It is on Thursday as well, which likely brings it a little bit closer. So my angle for this, my thought process here is that your Giants, not the Giants, your hometown Giants, I think they cover the spread in this one. What's your thoughts on the spread here?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We got both teams coming off a loss. The Eagles haven't looked great through their first 5 games. There's been a lot of rumors about A.J. Brown not being happy. The passing offense hasn't looked good. Saquon hasn't had any big games yet. So they're kind of trending down a little bit, even though they are 4-1. And then you got the Giants who just put in Dart. He's looked pretty good through the first 2 games, had some rookie mistakes last week. But I would say they're trending up aside from losing Malik Neighbors for the season, which is a huge piece. But there's kind of some excitement there. I agree with you. I would personally take the Giants on the spread, but that might be some bias there. So, yeah.
Look, I'm not betting on the Giants. I'm not a spread betting guy, but like I said in all of our videos, it's important to understand the spread because that's going to impact the flow of the game, the script, and ultimately these player props. And my reasoning for the Giants is I'm not going into too much detail, right? We've got a short week, typical Thursday dynamics, divisional home dog, and question marks on the Eagles offense, really. So I think we probably see a somewhat neutral script. I don't want to overcorrect it. There's a 7.5 point spread. The Eagles are going to dominate. So suddenly we only, we slam Giants passing props and we slam Eagles running props, right? I don't think it's going to be that straightforward. I think at least for the first 3 quarters, it should be a neutral game flow at the very least. So that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, definitely not betting the Giants to cover. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Now, can you tell me a little bit about Dart? Actually, before we talk about Dart, this is for everybody who's watching. If it's your first time watching these types of videos, it's one game. So James and I, we take our time. We go back and forth, ask a ton of questions to make sure we understand everything that we're looking at. Then we get to eventually get through picks, and we go through a lot of detail when we do so. But if you just want to know what the hell we're betting on and you don't give a shit about the reasons why, you can skip to the end of the video. There'll be a summary of what we decide to bet on as well. James, Dart, he's young. I've also heard he's dealing with a hamstring injury. How do you think Philly defends him today?
Yeah, it's a good question. Through the first 2 weeks, he's obviously used his legs a lot. If you look at his rushing props, he's covered, I think, 50-plus yards in both games. Yeah. So he's an athletic guy. The hammy injury does worry me just a little bit, but he did keep playing on Sunday, so I'm expecting him to be close to full health. As far as how the Eagles defend him, they've been playing a ton of man coverage this season. I've seen conflicting stats, Props Madness, and some other stats online don't align, but I think they're playing top 5 in frequency in man coverage. And Jackson Dart hasn't been all that good against man. He has a 57.1 completion percentage and 4.9 yards per attempt. So not great, but yeah, I mean, it's only a 2-game sample size pretty much. So it's a little tough to tell. But yeah, I mean, short week against a good defense, it's pretty tough to, predict a huge game from Dart. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand.
Okay. All right. Good to know. I think the way we'll attack this, let's just talk Giants props for now. Go through all the Giants props that we have. Then we'll get to the Eagles to see what looks that we like. Like one lean that I did have around the Giants was I don't think I'm going to bet this, but I was very close to. And then I found some Giants receivers that I'd prefer to bet on. I was looking at Jackson Dart. I think it was attempts. Just looking at volume here.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see what the line is. But it moved. So this was at 30.5 when I looked at it. By the time I was ready to, place a bet, I saw that the odds started to change. And I was like, this line's going to move. And if I share this, no one's going to get the same line anyway. So I kind of went against it. But, yeah, I was thinking Dart getting the attempts up. And, like, it's not going to be a massive trailing script. But, shit, 40 attempts last week. I was like, he ain't afraid to throw.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, we both think the Giants are going to cover, but it's worth mentioning that Vegas is probably better than us at spread betting. So they think the Eagles are going to be ahead. And in that case, you kind of expect a passing script, but yeah.
Yeah. And if you just look at the QBs against the Eagles, like every single one of them, 29 plus, 4 out of the 5, 30 plus attempts. Like, the Eagles are forcing these QBs to throw. And I thought, he's playing the same position. Why not let him air that shit out? So that was a lean that I had. And then the line moved. And I was like, I'm not betting on this. So, but do you have any looks at Jackson Dart at all? Or shall we move to some running
I don't
backs?
have anything on Dart. I think it's worth noting that his passing yards is the second lowest line of any quarterback this season. So if you want to take the dip there, maybe go for it. But I don't
already sweat Cam Ward last week.
Yeah, man. That was gross. It did hit, so yeah.
It did hit. In the end, it hit relatively easy, but if you're watching the game, following it, it's painful. But all right, let's talk about this backfield here for the Giants.
Yeah.
Do you have any looks on these guys?
Yeah, so my favorite play of the game is on Cam Scatterbo. I'm taking his receiving yards. So I got this right when it came out earlier today with the news of Tyrone Tracy being back. I took it at 11.5. I think it's up to 14.5 maybe. But I'm taking the latter here, just like Monday night. I'm going 20 plus for plus 200 and then 25 plus for plus 310. But yeah, he's finished with 61 yards in week 3 against the Chiefs and 45 yards last week against the Saints. So we know the ceiling is there. And he's currently averaging 3.6 receptions and 4.4 targets. But you might be asking like why the line is lower than you might expect. And like I mentioned, Tyrone Tracy's coming back. For me personally, that doesn't worry me. Brian Dable, the head coach, has shown his love for this guy. I mean, he is the heart and soul of the Giants right now. He's such an exciting player, and he's kind of given the Giants some juice, some much needed juice. But even in week 1, when Tyrone Tracy was playing, he had 12 receiving yards on just 8 offensive snaps. And I think since then, he's obviously earned a larger role in the offense. And without Neighbors, and also the Giants will be missing Darius Slayton, I think it's kind of hard for me to believe that the Giants take Scatterbo off the field in passing down situations just because they need to get their best offensive weapons out there. So I think he'll be out there. And then as far as the matchup, I'll touch on that real quick. The Eagles have kind of been below average against defending running back receiving yards. They allowed J.K. Dobbins, Harvey, Rashad White, Bucky Irving, and Kyren Williams all to cover their lines in the last 3 weeks. So like we said, Eagles are 7.5-point favorites. Expect, a good amount of passing here. We liked Dart's attempts, so maybe we expect, a bunch of throwing opportunities here. And Dart obviously played last week and found Scatterbo for 45 yards. So I really like this spot. I think it's kind of disrespectful. It opened at 11.5. I had to jump on that immediately. But yeah, absolutely. I'm betting on one of my favorite players this season. So hopefully Scatterbo does us right.
Oh, yeah. I actually bet him as well. But I only bet the latter. I think I only bet 20, 30, and 40 receiving yards.
Yeah. There you go.
Because I'm crazy like that, right? And I think obviously his ceiling is 50 to 60 yards. We've got the appropriate game script. We've got the appropriate matchup. Tracy does come back, but at the same time, you're right. I think they need to play him more. Like this guy, in the limited stuff that I've seen from him, I love him already. Like,
yeah, he's a psychopath, man. You love it.
Yeah, he's going to put bums on seats. He's just, you got to have him out there. He's just, he's great. I like him and I love that play. So I'm on board with you there. All right, let's talk about this receiving core for the Giants. You know them better than most. Missing a few key pieces, right? What, their first and second option, they're not there?
Correct. Yeah. Well, Wan'Dale Robinson might be the second option, but missing Neighbors, missing Slayton. Two pretty significant pieces in their passing offense. But as far as Wan'Dale Robinson, I don't really have much on him. I've actually taken a look at some of the other options. I know we talked about Jalen Hyatt off air last week, but I'm such a hater of this guy. I do not think he's good. Dable obviously doesn't like him either because he doesn't play. And over the last 2 seasons, he's only gone over this line once. And he's not going to be used as like a featured option. He's not going to be, or he's going to be on the outside for a significant part of this game, which he will see Quinyon Mitchell, who's a great cornerback for the Eagles. So I leaned under on his receiving props. I just think, you're banking on one play if you take his over, and I think it's a pretty low chance that he has like a long touchdown. It opened at 19.5, and I think it's all the way down at 16.5 now, which is a little disappointing, but I still like it there, to be honest. But do you have any thoughts on Giants receivers?
Firstly, on Hyatt, I would bet he's under purely because I'm emotional about it after betting his over last week and he did nothing. But he probably doesn't catch a damn thing. So I'm on board with that. I like the look of this guy. Daniel, is it Bellinger?
Yep, there you go. You got it.
Yeah. For some, I read it in my mind as Bellinger for no reason. Like, it must be an Australian thing. I just can't read. I probably didn't finish. No, I probably didn't finish school. So, but I like the look of his receiving yards. I ran into an issue, though. I liked it. Believe it or not, his receiving yards open at 7.5. It's now up to 16.5. It's like you thought AJ Brown's lines moved. This motherfucker moved, right? And for good reason. Last week saw 52% of snaps, 4 targets, 4 receptions. I know last week we spoke a little bit about the different zone defenses and stuff, and my numbers told me that Philly run a little bit more too high, which means we're hitting some looks underneath, which are the tight ends. But given how actually I'm looking at my notes now, this actually opened at 5.5. By the time I saw it, it was 7.5. By the time I bet it, it was in the teens. So I don't know if the value's probably gone by now, but I thought this was a really interesting look. If he's going to be there more than half the time, he only needs, being in the position he's in, he only needs 2 catches, really, I would say. What are your thoughts on this guy, though? You know him better than I do.
He looked pretty good last week, I will say. He had a few big catches once Slayton went down, so maybe that's telling to what's going to happen in this game. Theo Johnson is the other Giants tight end, and he had a pretty solid game last week too. He's been their big red zone threat. I think he's had a few touchdowns the past few weeks, but they used a lot of 2 tight end sets. So it's noteworthy that both of them were out there multiple times. So I like the read on both these guys, honestly. Like you said, too high. That also opens up kind of the middle of the field, the seams. That's where a lot of teams attack cover 2. So, I like both tight ends here. I'm not a big fan of any of the receivers, honestly. So, I like Scatterbo underneath. I like the tight ends underneath. I think that's going to be how they try to move the ball.
Yeah. Well, out of transparency, I bet him for 20. I was like, I'm not betting this line that keeps moving. I'm just going to take 20 extreme plus money, and then we just moving. So, that's what I'm looking at. All right. Let's head over to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts. You see the line 196, and it's Jalen Hurts, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? But then you also factor in how he's been playing and how terrible this offense looks. It seems like a really low line, but this guy has a really low floor and a really high ceiling. I think the way I look at it is if you're betting Jalen Hurts, just take an alternate. Take take him at 220, take him at 240. Like, don't hit him at this number. I actually spent a lot of time trying to decide where I think he's going to throw. I found a lot of reasons for him to throw, but then I can't shake the fact that he hasn't done it very well this season. In the loss last week against Denver, obviously threw the ball a lot more. Despite the Eagles' offense looking terrible, they're still winning games. Like, it's crazy to me. They're still winning games, and it's not like Jalen Hurts is probably just running the ball himself, right? He's been running the ball quite well, 4 running touchdowns. Ultimately, I was like, I put too much effort into this play on Jalen Hurts to bet it. If in my mind, I'm like, if I put this much effort in, it's probably not worth betting. It shouldn't be this hard. So ultimately, I didn't bet anything. But do you have any angles around Hurts?
Yeah, I didn't take anything in particular, but for me, I kind of see the Eagles trying to keep this on the ground. I'm sure we'll get to it with Saquon, but the Giants' run defense is terrible. The Eagles love to control the clock and kind of play at a slow pace. So, I guess that kind of correlates with some Hurts unders just because they'll be running a lot and maybe they don't try to go to the air. But with that being said, I think there is an angle where the Eagles try to use this game as like a get-right game for their pass catchers. It's a relatively easy matchup. So, the Giants defense can't stop anyone in any part of the field. So, I don't have anything on Hurts. It's kind of too hard to predict what he's going to do.
I guess the other thing, and we'll get to it when we talk about the receivers, right? I feel like based on the line movement, every man and his dog's betting on AJ Brown, right?
Yeah.
His line moved up 10 yards within the first couple of hours. Like, it was just got absolutely smashed. And because the matchup is perfect, right? They get smoked outside. They get smoked in the slot. I was thinking that I did the math, and I'm like, AJ Brown and Smith, they probably combined for 100 to 120 yards within this game. Saquon with 2 checkdowns probably puts 15 to 20. Then some random fucking tight ends and some guy you've never heard of before rattles off 30. I'm like, the 200 should be easy here for Hurts. He should get it. That's how I got to Hurts. But I couldn't find enough supporting data for it. So let's keep moving then. Let's talk about the groundwork. I know you're excited for this. We've got Saquon and Hurts. What's the angle here? What do you think? And Saquon hasn't necessarily performed to his standard this year. And I don't know the reason why. Like, I don't understand the downfall here. It needs to be studied, and hopefully you've done that for me.
I think the biggest reason is the offensive line. They're just not the same as they were last year. Landon Dickerson is going to be out for this game. He's been in and out of the lineup. The rest of their offensive line just hasn't really been performing. I think that's a big reason why Saquon hasn't had those really long runs that we got used to seeing last year. That being said, the Giants have gotten torched on the ground. We took both Kamara and Kendre Miller last week.
Yeah.
Omarion Hampton the week before absolutely smoked them. So I would not be surprised if in this revenge sort of narrative, Saquon goes crazy. The line is pretty high.
Like in this game, the 176 last year.
I mean, I would not be shocked if that happens. So if you're taking Saquon, maybe look for a little ladder opportunity, but it kind of just feels like too obvious, almost like last week with ETN, where the matchup is great. You expect them to be ahead, but pretty high line. I think it's justified. I don't have anything on Saquon, but what do you think?
Yeah, I was a little bit torn. I was thinking like, I'll probably just stake it. If I bet on Saquon, I'll stake a little bit on like 125, 150. Like, because then you're just betting on the narrative. Like, the matchup is great, but he's had some decent matchups. He still sucked anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, the only angle there is really just the narrative bet against his old team, which I already know is not a strong basis of betting. You shouldn't bet that way. It should be a very small percentage. Like Montgomery last week. Yeah, he was going back home, his family, first time his sister gets to watch him, yada, yada, yada. That's a narrative play. But if the matchup was terrible, I wouldn't have bet it.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. If I take the play on Saquon, I don't think this line's going to move because I think everyone else would see how bad he's been lately. I don't think it's going to move. So I might make a call later, closer to the game. Might look at some alternate things. But then the other thing is his work as a receiver has caught my eye. Like, it's like we can't run very well, so let's just fucking air this shit out. Like, last 2 weeks, he's been great on the ground. This is one thing that I did consider, and I might look at a value play, under in rushing, over receiving. So Saquon, just looking at him as getting these check downs and doing some work. But what are your thoughts on his work as a receiver?
Yeah, he had that big play last week, which was impressive. Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts. I mean, it's a good look. Just the passing game script probably won't be there if I had to guess. Like last week, we saw Hurts drop back a lot in the second half, more than they had all season, and then that's where we saw that big Saquon explosive pass play down the sideline. So I don't know if that kind of volume will be there this week, but yeah, he's an explosive player. They want to get him the ball, so yeah.
Yeah, because he's actually, look at the receptions, right? He's getting a ton of receptions this season.
Yeah,
3.4 receptions per game. It's almost plus money to get 3 receptions. But also, if we add into the fact, and I think the reason why this line is low and the odds are great for it, is that there's probably that fear that the Eagles dominate in this game. Get right spot, bounce back after last week against a shit team like the Giants. They probably go out there and kill them, right? And they just run the ball down their throats the whole time. But if I'm leaning on the side of the Giants keeping this close, Thursday night football, short week, then it's probably not going to be as run heavy, right? So there could be some value here around Saquon and his receptions is what I'd be considering. But we'll see. Like I said, we've got a lot of time before the games actually start. Let's keep moving. Let's talk about these receiving core from the Eagles. Let's start with A.J. Brown. You're not betting on A.J. Brown, are you?
I'm not. It's just too public for me. I will say, I mean, it's a good bet. I don't blame you for taking it. The Giants play a ton of man coverage, 5th highest man coverage rate, and A.J. Brown has historically absolutely dominated man coverage. I mean, he's also the outside receiver, and the Giants can't cover the kind of sideline guys. So, yeah, I don't blame you if you're taking this. I think the value might be kind of gone just because the line movement, like we talked about, but yeah, I don't have too many thoughts other than that.
Yeah, I'm not taking it. It's way too public for me as well. It's obviously one of the first things I spotted. I was like, this looks great. And then every motherfucker in the world thought the same thing. Like, the line was moving as I was writing my notes. Like, it was just insane how high this line went. So I'm not taking it. It makes sense, but he hasn't been playing great. Yes, he's been complaining a lot. So again, it's more of the narrative side of things, but the matchup is great too, right? Excellent matchup here. But I've personally went the other way. I went with Devonta on this one. I went with Smith over 50.5 receiving yards. And a lot of that has to do, I guess, his work in the slot. He's got a good matchup there. Okay, everyone's got a good matchup, right? Yeah. But I feel like he's been the more reliable option in terms of the receivers. It's pretty clear. His target share has been really good over the last couple of weeks. The Eagles obviously looking to improve what they do in the past game. And I think this works in both neutral in the neutral game script that I'm predicting. It still works very well because it's not about big throws downfield. It's about chipping away, moving the chains. So I'm going with him. I took the over 50.5. Hasn't been any live movement since I bet that, but that was only an hour ago. I wouldn't expect it to move so quickly, but I think that's a safer spot than this AJ Brown line that moved 10 yards.
Yeah. Devontae Smith's been far more consistent. And honestly, based on what's happened this year, you would kind of think that their lines would be closer together, if not flipped, based on kind of how they've been playing. But Vegas has a lot of respect for, I guess, what A.J. Brown has done in past years. Even last year, he was great for the Eagles. So, I like this look a lot. I think Devontae Smith has been much more reliable. You kind of know what you're getting with him. And in the slot, I'm sure they'll be using him. So, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Sweet. Do you have any other looks on this receiving core from the Eagles?
I don't have anything. Do you have any other looks on like Goddard or other receivers?
Nah. You know how I feel about receivers. Like unfortunately, I feel like a lot of the best looks here is about receiving. We've got the Giants. It feels like that's their only path to victory. The Eagles, it's the biggest thing they need to improve on. So I think that's where the attention is, unfortunately. But let's recap the bets for everyone who didn't sit through all that analysis. I'll go first. So I've already bet on Devontae Smith over 50.5 receiving yards. I've taken alternate lines on the Scat Man, same as you. I took one. I went a little bit higher actually. I took the alternate line on Bellinger. They're the three that I have down for now. But what are the bets that you have down?
Yeah, so I've just got Scatterboo over receiving yards. I took over 11.5, and then I took 20 plus and 25 plus. So hopefully he climbs the full ladder, and we have another great primetime sweet victory of a night.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, James, I appreciate you, man. If anybody wants to see all the work that James does, though, you can find him over on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'll leave a link down below to his page. You can go ahead and check him out. Throw him a follow. And if you haven't seen these videos that I've done before, be sure to like, subscribe, because we're doing these a couple of times per week. We're on a pretty hot streak at the moment. We'll be doing it all throughout the NFL season. And then obviously once the NBA starts, we'll be doing this every damn day. But I appreciate you all if you made it this far. Gamble responsibly. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.